sin tener que darnos tantas explicaciones. Trabajamos para un mismo Señor y con un mismo objetivo básico. Aprovechemos, pues, estas ventajas adecuadamente. Considerando que todas las tendencias mencionadas anteriormente se aplican también a las universidades católicas, mencionaré los aspectos a los que entiendo debemos prestar más atención en el futuro cercano. Por un lado, preservación de la identidad, no como una reliquia que vamos a adorar, sino como una realidad viva que se va transformando con el tiempo sin perder su eje y que debe impregnar la vida universitaria. Segundo, introducción del máster universitario profesionalizado en nuestras instituciones. Se deben incorporar gestores y procesos a la altura de la modernidad. Tercero, sustentabilidad, meta compartida por todo el mundo universitario católico. Debemos encontrar en cada lugar, con cada sistema, caminos que aseguren el desarrollo de la misión. Cuarto, liderazgo para el cambio. La formación de líderes católicos es urgente. Personas que tengan una identidad distintiva, que dialoguen con el mundo, entendiéndolo, con las capacidades intelectuales necesarias para promover el avance de la sociedad, son absolutamente necesarias. Por otra parte, la globalización es otra de las tendencias que, siendo integrantes de la organización más global que existe, que es la Iglesia, todavía estamos en una etapa que necesitamos más desarrollo de relación entre nosotros que nos permitan aprovechar adecuadamente esta posición ventajosa. Por último, la sostenibilidad. Entiendo que ninguna universidad católica debería quedar al margen de lo que Laudato Si señala como un camino razonable de desarrollo sostenible a mediano y largo plazo. Para cerrar, diré que el panorama del mundo universitario está cambiando a una velocidad alucinante, con novedades y tendencias que influyen en los alumnos que recibimos todos los años en nuestras instituciones. El entorno competitivo global de las universidades se está complejizando, con nuevos actores que irrumpen con sistemas de aprendizaje atípicos y experiencias vanguardistas. En este marco, las universidades católicas nos erigimos como una referencia inexorable, llamadas a desarrollar en estos tiempos un modelo que compatibilice las ventajas de la modernidad, la agilidad de las nuevas tendencias y las facilidades que brinda la tecnología con un perfil de persona, la formación de un perfil de persona que sea un factor de cambio verdadero desde los valores, desde una identidad basada en las enseñanzas de los evangelios y que hoy tiene el Papa Francisco un referente de alcance mundial. El mismo Papa nos decía que la comunidad universitaria siempre trabaja para el futuro, pero lo hace con una fuerte conciencia de sus raíces y de una percepción realista del presente. Por otro lado, el mismo Papa nos exhortaba a ser protagonistas conscientes de ese cambio que surgen de la visión y la coherencia, partiendo de una perspectiva comunitaria. En este sentido, la calidad y el estilo de las relaciones que se viven en la universidad son fundamentales. Cierro la cita del Papa. Por un lado, afirmando que la universidad tiene un rol trascendental en el futuro, cada uno de nosotros tiene la capacidad de cambiar esa parte del mundo que se nos ha confiado. Nosotros, los gestores que estamos acá, tenemos esa posibilidad y esa gran responsabilidad. Somos lo que queremos llegar a ser y tener una clara visión es la llave para cualquier desarrollo futuro que podamos plantear. Entendamos que lamentarse no sirve de nada, que solo con valentía, utilizando los instrumentos que el Señor nos da, construiremos una universidad católica más grande, más inclusiva y fiel al mandato evangélico. Gracias.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to listen to you, and you have underlined some of the major trends that our universities are facing. You also remind that one of the main purposes was to think about our identity, our identities, and how this identity is at the heart of our mission. And one of your last points was to underline some specific challenges for universities. I mean, this reflection about our identity, the management, and how this management is also very important, the question of sustainability, and of course, how we have to deal with this very important question of leadership for societies, for the church, and for our universities. So thank you very much for this discussion. And now I will introduce our next speaker, Father Stéphane Ngari, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. Stéphane, you are also the Vice President, one of the Vice President of IFCU. You hold a doctorate in educational psychology, and you have many talents that your curriculum proves. So thank you very much for your presence among us and for your speech. You have 10 minutes, more or less.
Thank you very much, Francois. Because of this, I'll give my presentation in points so that it will be much shorter. But I wish to say that the Catholic universities have been here for more than 800 years. And it's noteworthy to say that on 15th January 1200, the first university of modern France was established by a decree of Philippe Auguste. And here theology, medicine, law, and the arts were taught. So we are here on the 19th and on 15th of the same month, 824 years in France that was done. Therefore, the historians believe that the Catholic Church is the innovator of the universities in the world, because some of the universities like Oxford, Prague, Paris, Cologne, and Bologna were initiated by papal bulls, and therefore, even quoting from the Gravism Educations, it cites that education is extremely important in the life of a human person, and therefore it should be fostered by the church. Predominantly, this fostering of education should be done under the principles of subsidiarity and to fulfill the mandate she has received from her divine founder of proclaiming the mystery of salvation to all people and of restoring all things in Christ. Therefore, we are doing not our ministry, but that of our founder. Education is also an inalienable right and must keep with the ultimate goal of humanity, for a true education aims at the formation of the human person in the pursuit of his or her ultimate end, and of the good of the society of which as a member and whose obligations and adult he or she will share. So it gives us a futuristic responsibility. Christian education must make its principal goal to introduce the baptized more fully to the gift of faith and the triune God. Education comes firstly from the parents, and they are the primary and principal educators of children, again from Gravism Educations number 3. And therefore, to conclude, I would say that Catholic University is an educational project that responds to the academic, human, spiritual, political, and social challenges of our world and needs to be estimated. Therefore, I have a few recommendations that I will give to justify and that will make our universities relevant and valid for the humanity now and in the future. According to psychology, because I'm also a professor of psychology, learning is a form of behavior. Behavioral sciences predicated that we are a product of our learning and experience. Therefore, can Catholic universities take leadership in defining education as behavior formation and redefine their future in bringing new cognitive and affective definitions of learning? So we have to be innovative to be at the lead to tell what these are. By this, the main aim is teaching minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. This should be sustained at all levels because that's the human person that we are dealing with, and therefore the cognitive, the affective, and the transformation of human lives. We also need to have quality education that will bring value in areas of research, innovation, and Catholic teachings in education that will give Catholic universities an edge, because there are many universities, they teach the same disciplines, so we need to be careful that we are not a replica of what we are. There must be value. And therefore, Catholic universities should stand among the leagues of Ivy and other world-class universities. Also, in relation to John 17, verse 17, where Jesus prayed that consecrate them in the truth. Therefore, the mind, the heart, also the transformation of lives must also do this, because it addresses both the reason and faith and the heart. We also need to have the management of culture and intellectual tradition to remain relevant, being disruptive in the evolution of ideas, values, and ethos of human practice. I'm talking disruptive. We should respond to the modern needs, and therefore we should work in the same manner. Introducing new ways of learning, like what was brought by Bloom's taxonomy of learning that deals with human cognitive, affective domains like comprehension, analysis, contrasts, synthesis, among others. We need new paradigms of learning that include the transcendence of factors. We need to answer the matters of human originality, mission, destiny, and accountability, which is very important in the modern society. Like someone said, that the problem of Africa is its leadership. Therefore, the consequences are dire poverty, insecurity, and migration to the north. I was asked to refer it to a little bit of what is happening in Africa. Why are people migrating north to north and bringing a crisis to Europe? It is because we have not formed the right leadership and the right minds, because we have enough resources to sustain our populations in Africa, but we do not have the right minds to sustain them in Africa. Therefore, proper preparation of Catholic universities' leadership in the management of change, which is disruptive and pervasive. The change is so dire. We have the artificial intelligence, we have the modern technologies, we have the modern cultures that, the culture is defined as the lens through which we view the world. And therefore, we must be at the forefront in also redefining the cultures that will give a proper worldview. We also need the collaborations with other Catholic universities globally, like it is with FIUC-IFCU. This will mitigate on the global divide that is causing conflicts and wars. I am working on this in the African universities. Last year, I am applying it to Africa, because I'm also the chair of the Amasea Catholics in the region. We have decided to have an African approach, and therefore last year I wrote a project and I got 900,000 euros that is going to help us to come together as theologians from Africa, and therefore we are not lying down but making everything possible come towards us. We are also called to keep the evangelization mission as part of Catholic universities' education. We teach social teachings of the church in all our faculties. At the Catholic University, either people, whoever is doing law, doing social sciences or hard sciences, the social teachings of the church are a must, and it is examinable. And therefore, we must redefine our differences with the other persons. Also, the culture and the spirit of synodality, working together with the communities to seek solutions to their problems through joint studies, dialogue, and research. For example, in areas of food security, environment, economy, justice, peace, faith, among others. And therefore, research must be geared towards answering these fundamental community questions. We also need to embrace technology in learning and teaching, and using it also as a tool for evangelization. I think you know about the ChatGPT. How are we going to teach with that knowledge being with our kids, that they can even look for papers to be written for them? But I was dealing with one of the ICT gurus, and he told me that if you ask GPT if it wrote that paper, it will tell you. So we are now wanting to go ahead of the batch. So we need to embrace the technology, but as well be careful so that it doesn't manipulate the education system and the proper formation of the young people. For Africa, the Catholic universities must forge a way of cultivating future leaders that will become instrumental in evolving the continent from her political, social, and economical woes. That is one of the future missions of our universities as we come there, because I said it is not, its problem are not the problems of the people, but the problem of leadership. Also, finally, we need to make the Catholic University a place of reference in academic and doctrinal matters through research, and also developing a battery of scholars in the same domains. And this calls for training, retooling, and retaining quality staff in research and public opinion. So if we respond to the challenges that I have also cited, the solutions, then we are geared to take off for the future. The future is ours because we have a solidarity and also a cradle of knowledge that we all bring today and tomorrow to ensure that we are relevant, we are valid, and also we are the leaders in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefan. As the time is going on, I'm obliged to give you the floor. Father Sally Augustine is a priest, is a Jesuit, Chancellor of Sofia University, and a man is teaching areas. There is ethnic politics and also global studies. Thank you very much. I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. Hello. Are you all right? Yes. And this is the last one. Yes. Be happy. I'm going to be short because already we know what is the future of the universities and Catholic universities. So I'm not going to read what I have already written. So I'm going to make it short. I think the future of Catholic universities will be shaped by various factors, but I am going to tell you that 3 elements. One is the societal changes that is going to affect shaping the Catholic universities. Some of them are demographic change, diversity of identities, and so on and so forth. Second one is technological advancement will affect, and that will shape the future of the Catholic universities also. Of course, it's equal to other universities also. Especially in that sense, ethics and our educational and research methodologies and equipments will be affected. And the evolving needs of students, their skills, employment opportunities, and values will shape. We know that some researchers are saying that 40% of the jobs existed 40 years ago are not existing today. So like that, it is changing. Not to make it short, I would say that as the world becomes more diverse, Catholic universities will need to adapt and ensure that they are welcoming and inclusive to students from different backgrounds and beliefs. This may involve revisiting curriculum, fostering dialogue, and engaging on social issues including peace, sustainability, ecology, etc., and promoting diversity and inclusion initiatives. We have an experience. For example, Sofia University, I am from Sofia University as introduced. Our educational principle was like this: men and women for others with others. For about 40 years, we were using this frame. We changed that 1 year ago, 2 years ago, in 2021, removing men and women and saying our education is for others with others, just to say that we are not excluding somebody. So it's a kind of inclusive approach. Even management made a decision like that. So I'm just saying some example of that we are already engaged in. And the second point is that higher education is called upon in our day-to-day life to give creative responses to the changing times. Universities incapable of finding answers to the new times may be outdated. University has lost its monopoly as a place of access to knowledge, if you see like that. But still, university has its word to say on problem solving on issues of global and local society. So we have still great role in doing that. We know that the data-based society requires emphasizing value that protect the vulnerable. Going against the misuse of the weak may also be a result of education. So we have to do things like that in order to create proper leaders. Leaders, also political, industrial, and so on and so forth. Not only good persons. We have to emphasize on creating leaders because, as you know probably, Naeem Moses in the book, The Revenge of Power, how autocrats are reinventing politics for the 21st century, explores something called the 3 Ps: populism, polarization, and post-truth. With which the autocratic leaders are exploiting to remain in power or capture power. And these 3 Ps have been around for some time. But let me reflect briefly on one of my concerns, that is the third one, the post-truth, where the Catholic universities may be a bit worried about. Post-truth has been defined as the disappearance of shared objective standard for truth. The disappearance of shared objective standard for truth. It is the definition given by Collins Dictionary. It is a condition that arises in public life when the dividing line between facts and knowledge on one side and belief and opinion on the other, that the dividing line between them is no longer widely agreed upon. Fake news is used purposely to divide, polarize. It is not an individual moral failing, it is a failure of the communications infrastructure of politics and power in today's world. A withdrawal of probably science and philosophy from our knowledge. There is a majority of people for whom the distinction between fact and fiction or between true or false doesn't exist. Machine-aided targeting of message based on the recipient's belief, prejudice, and preferences amplifies the impacts of those messages in unprecedented ways. When political leaders are manipulating people for their beliefs, their benefits, it is urgent to see if our education is producing authentic leaders. Can political leaders, based on Catholic educational principles, provide a better world for most those manipulated people and those really contributing to this aspect of the need of the society today? This is one of the questions that I raised today. And I think we have a great role in educational research to produce better human beings and good leaders for the society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that your Jesuit discernment helped you to understand that we were in a hurry. Really, thank you very much. I would like to thank all our panelists for this last session. Just 2 words. The closing words will be said by our president, Isabel, over dinner. And for the moment, I just would like to thank some student teams, because we have been helped by some students from the Santa Croce, coordinated by Daniel, and also by some students from the LUMSA. And so I would like to thank them very, very warmly, because it has been very helpful for us to work with them. And I don't forget that this session has been also easier for us thanks to the translators. So the last thanks is for you. Thank you very much. Thank you, and now we can leave and go to the Mass.